How do you recognize ADD in teen girls at home? What's in their behavior? What do they look like? This is going to be different than how they present in school, and there's going to be overlap with some other things. Now, I'm Ivan. If you're new to my channel, I am a parent coach. I help families thrive, connect with their children, and move forward so that you can get past that overwhelm and you can find peace and connection. I'm also have a history as an occupational therapist. I help families in the clinic, but I'm here to help you understand your teenage daughter who has ADD and why they are having challenges and struggles in their life. Now, I want to tell you the top 5 signs of ADD, things to look out for, and then I want to tell you a personal story about my daughter that just happened, and I'm excited to share it with you, okay? But here are the 5 signs to be looking for when your teenage daughter has ADD, which is going to look different than it does in boys. Number 1, they're going to get overwhelmed, and they may get overwhelmed at very simple tasks. Hey, cleaning your room, doing the dishes, vacuuming, starting homework. Any of those can seem like big things. We don't think of them as big things, but for them, it is. When we break it into smaller steps and work on one thing at a time, that overwhelm decreases. It's seeing this enormous thing, but not being able to divide it into tiny tasks they can start to do. We tend to do it very automatically, or other people are able to do that automatically, but your teenage daughter with ADD is going to struggle with that. Now, the number 2 thing, this emotional intensity. And to really understand this, you have to consider that there is so much trying to go into their brain, but they're having a difficult time getting it to process and move into higher centers of the brain where they can think and they function and really move forward. With all this chaos happening, train wrecks of information and thoughts and stuff from around them in the world, it gets very overwhelming. And it picks up our guard dog that we have in our brains wanting to keep us safe. Because that gets activated, your daughter is going to struggle with emotions connected to where we understand the world. When things are chaotic in their mind, of course, they're going to have bigger emotional reactions. And even though they might do well at school, but at home, they can relax and let go. Then we have bigger emotional responses. And you're thinking, why is this happening at home? And honestly, it's a little bit of a compliment because that means that your home is safe and they feel comfortable letting those emotions show. So good job. And there's more that you can do to help your daughter with that. But number 3 is really going back to, hey, at school, they're doing well. They put so much energy into masking, trying to fit in, trying to be successful, and they burn out when they go home. They're exhausted, the mask is off, and there goes the wild emotion. So again, you have overwhelm with simple tasks, you have emotional intensity, you have this masking at school, trying to keep it all together. And then number 4, time blindness, not being able to understand. What does 5 minutes feel like? What does 10 minutes feel like? What does a half an hour feel like? Because they are not picking up on the same cues that other people do. And this means they are wired differently. And it's not a bad thing. It just means that we need to be able to put in other helps for them to be able to understand time and not lose track or zone out or be unaware. And here we go, now it's the end of the night and we haven't been able to get anything done. There's a lot of strategies that you can put in place, including timers or alarms, cueing or sitting down with them. Number 5 is perfectionism or harsh self-talk, getting down on themselves. Your child understands that life is difficult. Your child understands that she is different from peers at school, than siblings, than other people she interacts with, friends. She knows that life is hard for her because yada, yada, yada. Or maybe she just recognizes that life is hard. And so then she is going to be using a lot of harsh self-talk. And she wants to do well. She wants to thrive. My daughter, she loves to get straight A's. She works hard for her straight A's. But man, one thing goes wrong and she spirals down and she starts on this negative self-talk and just wants to rip herself apart and have to continually build herself up. It takes a lot of energy for your daughter to be successful, and your daughter wants to be successful, and this is just another layer of challenge. She is going to be fantastic. She's going to be successful. She's going to have great things happen in her life. But the teenage years is so hard anyway. So here we go. Let me tell you about my middle daughter. It's her birthday. And she asked me, Dad, I want to make things with my hands. And she says, Dad, I want a jewelry tree. I want something that I can hang my necklaces on, my bracelets. I can put my rings on. And it's all there, but I don't have a lot of desk space. So I want it skinny and tall. So I said, okay, fantastic. And I go out into my wood shop. Of course, I think differently. And I go out there and I think, how am I going to make this? I take this tree branch, chop the tree branch, and then I look at it and I think, I'm going to put in a drawer. And so I make this bandsaw drawer box out of the bottom of it. And then the top, I put these wires that go out and they spiral and have bumps so you can hang necklaces, bracelets. And there's a drawer for rings. It's crazy fun. And it's very, as another one of my daughters says, it's very Ivan. And I bring it into her and she has this look on her face. And she says, thanks, Dad. She puts it here in my head. I go, I have failed. This is not what she wanted. I'm trying to be nice. I have a gift for my daughter. I did not do it right. And by the end of the evening, we were able to talk again. And she says, yeah, I was thinking about this. And she shows me this picture, and it's just this little platform with a stick and a crossbar. She says, that's what I had in mind. And then it clicks for me. And I think about who she is as a person. And I think about how she tries to limit chaos in her life because she has recognized that doesn't help with her processing. I made this fun piece of art, jewelry box. It's chaotic. Wires going everywhere. It's a raw tree branch. There's bumps and bark is peeling and you have this drawer that comes out. It's very chaotic. It's very artistic. It's very fun, but it's very chaotic. Now, she loves to paint. And when she paints, she will take a canvas and she will use very straight, solid colors. There isn't a lot of blending. It's a mountainscape with maybe bands of color in the sky, a cactus and something else. Fantastic pieces of art. I love them. But it's very different from my daughter who has autism, who looks at art in a very different way. Hers is very chaotic. There's blending of color and there's trees and there's all sorts of things going on in little tiny detail versus my other daughter who's very clean with her lines. Guess what? That makes sense. Because for her, when there's added stimulation, it becomes overwhelming. So her preferred art style is very clean. And then I'm thinking, Ivan, what have you done in trying to give a wonderful gift to my daughter? I gave her chaos. And that doesn't help her. And it's going to be hard for her to organize her jewelry, which is what she wanted. So I head back to the wood shop. I found a round base out of walnut, and I drill some holes. Now instead of one branch, there's two sticks coming up, 2 crossbars, just to give her a little bit more room. I drill 2 holes to hold rings. I get it all done, oil it, bring it back to her, and I say, Tori, I made you a new one. I think you'll like this better. Her face lit up. She got up and gave me a big hug and went, Ivan, that's it. When I take time to think about who my daughter is, to understand that she's going to get overwhelmed by simple things, that all this stuff is going to come in and she gets overwhelmed with her emotions. She spends time masking, and then home should be a safe place, but she wants to create it for herself. She wants simplicity. She wants to cut out all the extra. This is when connection happens. The same can happen to you. Becoming more aware and having guidance to connect with your daughter. This is what I do in my coaching, but remember these 5 things when you're looking at your daughter and you're understanding how he is affecting her behavior. Overwhelm with simple tasks, emotional intensity, masking at school so she's exhausted at home, time blindness, desire for perfection, and harsh self-talk. Those are all signs. Give me a follow, share my channel with somebody who needs it. Thank you for watching.